You may remember this tweet that Anthony Joshua put out last week where he said that I've shared this ring with most of the people you see in the heavyweight division today. I boxed Otto Wallin twice as youngsters, and I boxed Joe Joyce and stopped him in 1 round. I do the same thing today, ain't nothing changed. Well, Joe Joyce, aka the Juggernaut, responded with the following. He said, Anthony Joshua, you're having a meltdown. Where's all your belts? All those sponsorships and endorsements helping? You're a glass cannon. Quit the act. You were given everything. Hashtag easy mode. AJ responded with, it took you 5 days to think of this. And the Juggernaut clapped back with, by the way, I told you 5 days ago, let's get it on, my ute. Check your Twitter. You ducked it. And indeed, if you check 5 days ago, he did respond to Anthony Joshua by saying, let's go, my ute. Let's do it in Nigeria. Now, I'm not sure how realistic Nigeria would be as a location for this fight. Obviously, they're both of Nigerian heritage, but given the fact that Nigeria have never hosted a major boxing event before, it suggests that it might not be quite so easy to put it on there as it would be somewhere else that's got a track record of putting on major boxing events. The UK obviously being the first choice, but even certain overseas territories like Saudi Arabia that do now have a track record of putting on big boxing shows. So anyway, with all that aside, what do you guys think of this beef between Joe Joyce and Anthony Joshua? Do you think that Joe Joyce will be able to reverse the results from the amateurs where Joe Joyce was stopped by Anthony Joshua? Or do you think it will be repeat? Do you think that Joe Joyce's style is absolutely tailor-made for AJ? Joe Joyce, as we know, a lot slower than AJ, does get hit a lot. AJ, fast hands for a big man, throws combinations and hooks, uppercuts, etc. There's actually footage of AJ sparring Joe Joyce on the internet. I'm not sure exactly when that was in Joe Joyce's career compared to AJ. Obviously, Joe Joyce was still amateur when AJ had turned pro. So, yeah, I'm not sure exactly where Joe Joyce was at that point. But AJ appeared in the sparring footage to be kind of walking Joe Joyce around, like he was taking it easy on him. But again, it's a very short sparring clip, so you can't know for sure. And there may be other sparring footage out there of AJ and Joe Joyce. I'm just talking about the footage I saw, which was a relatively short clip. But the way AJ was moving around, it looked like he was walking Joe Joyce around the ring, basically, and helping him out rather than a proper all-out spar. So, yeah, maybe things have changed. Joe Joyce clearly seems to think that things have changed because he's very confident now that he would beat Anthony Joshua. Maybe there were certain sparring sessions they had where Joe Joyce got the better of it. Maybe there were sparring sessions where he hurt Anthony Joshua. I don't know. But he certainly seems to be confident, and he is getting that confidence from somewhere. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is there a way that Joe Joyce can beat Anthony Joshua? Because when you look at them stylistically, you can understand why AJ was able to beat Joe Joyce when they were amateurs. Because AJ, same height as Joyce, faster hands, more explosive puncher, probably a bigger puncher in truth, puts his shots together. Joe Joyce did get stopped, even though he's got a reputation of having a good chin as a pro, and I think it's a deserved reputation. He did get stopped a number of times as an amateur, not just by Anthony Joshua. He was also stopped by Sergey Kuzmin. And there may be perhaps one or two others there, I'm not sure. But certainly AJ and Kuzmin stopped him. And Kuzmin also stopped him in 1 round just like AJ did. So this is a guy who has been stopped before, knows what it's like to get stopped, and surely could be stopped again. Would AJ be able to put his combinations together and get Joe Joyce out of there? That's something Shane McGuigan certainly seems to think, because he's picking AJ, if they do fight, to stop Joe Joyce early, the same as he did when they were amateurs in the unpaid ranks. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this little beef in the comment section below. And I'm sure AJ is just as confident, if not more confident, than Joe Joyce is that he would repeat what he did in the amateurs. But then again, people are going to say, if he's as confident as he's acted like he is, why not take the fight? Because, you know, it's a big fight that make a decent amount of money, I'm sure. Both guys rekindle the amateur rivalry. Why not do it? Rather than fighting Otto Wallin or somebody who isn't going to bring in as many eyes to watch it, as many pay-per-views, etc. Why not fight a Joe Joyce? And I guess the answer to that would be Otto Wallin, is at least a southpaw. Even Luis Ortiz is at least a southpaw, and he's preparing for a southpaw in Alexander Usyk. So that makes more sense. And I agree with that. If I was advising AJ or part of AJ's team, I would certainly be looking to put him in there with a southpaw next if he's only going to have one fight between now and the Usyk rematch. If he plans to have more than one fight, then perhaps you could put a Joe Joyce in there. Maybe fight Joyce first. If he gets past Joyce, then fight, let's say, an Otto Wallin or a Luis Ortiz. Then after that, fight Usyk. But, you know, you're putting lots of risks in between him getting that title shot again. But I have always felt that he shouldn't go into the immediate rematch with Alexander Usyk anyway. So in my plan, it wouldn't make much difference, but I wouldn't necessarily put him in there with a Joe Joyce next if he was to follow my plan of having some, I call them rehabilitation fights, yeah, and then working his way back up to championship level. When I say working his way back up, I'm not talking about him fighting journeyman, right? I'm talking about him fighting, you know, some top 15 guys who are lower down in the top 15 before stepping it back up against the elite guys. So, yeah, this kind of would fit into my plan, you know, what I think would be best for AJ when it comes to getting himself back into the position he was in where he was unified champion. And with Joe Joyce, as Shane McGuigan said, it may be a way of getting AJ's confidence back up. If he's able to go in there and beat Joyce in good fashion, stop him early, he then goes into, well, let's say the Wallin fight, or if you want to go straight into the Usyk rematch, he will go in there with a lot of confidence. And Shane McGuigan and many other people believe that AJ needs to basically bulldoze Alexander Usyk in the rematch. Not think about it too much, but go in there and impose himself. And that Joe Joyce might be the perfect fight to prepare him for that kind of mindset and those kind of tactics of just bulldozing a guy, getting in there and hitting him, hurting him, being rough, etc. Although Joe Joyce is a big guy himself, much bigger than Alexander Usyk. He can punch back and he can rough you up just as well. So, I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments below? Do you think this is a viable fight? Is it something you'd like to see sooner rather than later? And do you think that Joe Joyce could reverse the result from the amateurs where he got stopped by AJ? Let me know.